Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for less spiders next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter, one of the only characters to ever master every form of Nen. For those out of the loop, that means Kurapika is the kid on the playground who was like, "My superpower is that I have all the superpowers." Should be pretty easy. Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need everything, not hard, specifically some spiritual chains to whip the spiders and wrap them up. Finally, we need to wrap those spiritual chains around people's hearts to force them to do our bidding under penalty of death. Oh my god, why didn't I just build Fighter McMiddle-aged White Man again? This sounds hard. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. I thought about using the point buy to make all your stats the same, but even though Kurapika can use all forms of Nen, he is better at some than others. Also, ability scores aren't Nen. Anyway, Charisma at number 1. If your Nen is a natural ability and you have so much natural ability that you can make a pact with yourself, that's pretty insane. Dexterity next. Before you learned about Nen, you just sorta beat people up with punching. Wisdom after that. You need some superior senses if you're a human lie detector. Follow it up with Intelligence. Kurapika is a gifted student. How else could he learn Nen faster than Gon and Killua? Constitution's a bit low and will dump Strength. Obviously, you're good at both of those things. We can just patch them up easier than other abilities. Starting off as a human, Kurapika can get a feat like the Tough Feat for plus 2 HP for every level you have and every level you get. Now Constitution isn't as much of an issue. It's basically a 14. Bump your Wisdom and Charisma with your 2 free points, take Investigation for your skill of choice, and build your own background for Intimidation and Perception. We need those skills, but maybe grab features from Haunted One. You've seen some stuff with those red eyes. We'll kick things off as a monk, letting you grab 2 skills from the monk list, like Athletics and Acrobatics. Monks start off with Strength saving throws, so with Athletics being the only strength skill, your strength rolls will pretty much always be +5 anyway. Easy to fix. You don't even have to use it for unarmed attacks, since martial arts let you make them with your Dexterity modifier, and they deal 1d4 bludgeoning damage. Combos get even easier with an extra unarmed attack as a bonus action after you make one with your action. The only restriction is that you can't be wearing armor, so it's a good thing you have unarmored defense. For AC equal to 10 plus your Dexterity and Wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor. At the moment, that's the same as Studded Leather, the best light armor in the game. Already very consistent, but now we need to make a pact with ourselves, guaranteeing our own death if we break that agreement. I have a similar deal with myself if I don't make 10 bards a year. Speaking of, first level bards get another skill from the bard list like Sleight of Hand to slip those chains out without anyone seeing. We're really here for the bard spell list, which works so well for Kurapika a little bit later. For now, we'll still get a few pieces of the puzzle. Cure Wounds heals 1d8 plus your Charisma modifier to a creature you touch as an action. Broken Bones aren't a big deal with a healing spell available. Heroism makes a creature immune to the frightened condition, and they get temporary HP equal to your Charisma modifier every round. It's another way to beef up your HP pool, since you should be shrugging off a little bit of extra damage. Silvery Barbs gives a creature disadvantage on an ability check, saving throw, or attack roll, and if that causes them to fail, a creature within 30 feet of you gets advantage on an ability check, saving throw, or attack roll. Can't have spiders passing the save against your magical chains once we get the magical chains. Bane forces a Charisma saving throw on up to 3 creatures. Failing that, they have a D4 penalty to attack rolls and saving throws, just kind of making you better than them. Fear Cantrips Prestidigitation lets you do a bunch of small Nen stuff, heating things, cooling things, making tiny objects. There's a little bit of every school of Nen, but not a lot of one in particular. Blade Ward lets you resist bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage for a round, though it's probably better to just take the dodge action and hope they miss altogether, especially if you can Silvery Barbs them with your reaction. The exclusive ability of Bard is Bardic Inspiration, a set of D6s you can give your allies to add to ability checks, saving throws, or attack rolls. Kurapika does play well with others, but the real joy of this comes later. Second level Bards get Jack of all trades, letting you add half your proficiency bonus to any skill you're not proficient with, making you better with every form of Nen, even the ones you're not great with. You also get a Song of Rest, letting your allies heal an extra D6 on short rests. If you'll remember, Gon also has this ability, so that explains why all these boys heal up so quickly. For this level spell, Detect Magic lets you sense magical auras and what type of magic is causing them, helping you figure out what kind of Nen your enemies are using, or should I say, your Nenemies? Probably not. Third level Bards get Expertise in 2 skills, letting you double your proficiency bonus to those checks. I'll go for Intimidation and Perception to get scary and notice when people pee their pants. You can also choose a Bardic College, and the College of Whispers will give us what I want to use your inspiration die for, Psychic Blades. That lets you spend a die to add 2d6 psychic damage to 1 weapon attack per round. A weapon attack can be your punch. D&D wording is confusing sometimes. Words of Terror let you make a creature of your choice frightened of another creature of your choice after you talk to them for a minute. If only we had an ability to wrap up one of the spiders for a minute. Maybe like the spell Bold Person, which paralyzes a humanoid for a minute if they fail a wisdom saving throw. That means you critically hit when you hit them within 5 feet, so that 2d6 psychic damage turns into 4d6 psychic damage. Wrap someone up, then punch them. Really really hard. 4th level bards get an ability score improvement, work on your charisma for Nen chains that are harder to break. For this level spell, Zone of Truth forces a charisma saving throw on creatures in a 15-foot radius sphere. Failing that, they have to tell the truth. They can be evasive, but they can't lie, so you'll know if they're part of the gang that killed everyone you've ever loved. 5th level bards get a font of inspiration, so your bardic inspiration die recover on short rests instead of long rests, and they bump up to a d8. More importantly though, the psychic blades damage now deal 3d6 or 6d6 from a free crit with hold person. You also get 3rd level spells like Bestow Curse, which forces a wisdom saving throw on a creature. Failing that, something bad happens to them. You can make something up with your DM's permission, but there's set options in the player's handbook if you don't want to spend 20 minutes debating them. And speaking of curses, Hexblades get curses. So let's jump over to the Hexblade Warlock for the Hexblade's Curse. That'll let you pick a spider to rip apart, critically hitting them on a 19 or 20, adding your proficiency bonus to the damage of attacks against them, and you recover HP equal to your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier when you kill them. Revenge is pretty great. As a Hex Warrior, you're also proficient with martial weapons, like a whip, and can make attacks with it using your Charisma modifier instead of Strength or Dex. But maybe the best way to use a magical chain would be Eldritch Blast, firing 2 ranged spell attacks that deal 1d10 force damage each. Chill Touch is also a decent option, making a ranged spell attack that deals 2d8 necrotic damage and prevents the target from healing. Kind of hard to heal with chains wrapped around your heart. For 1st level spells, Shield adds 5 to your AC as a reaction, just swing your chain real fast and stop people from hitting you. Hex is a cheaper way to deal some extra damage, picking a creature to give disadvantage on ability checks of a certain type, and you'll deal an extra d6 of necrotic damage to them just for good measure. 2nd level warlocks can make their pact with themselves more intense thanks to invocations. Agonizing Blast lets you add your charisma modifier to the damage of your Eldritch Blast beams, basically just making them heavy crossbows that deal force damage. It's bananas how good it is. Beguiling Influence gives you proficiency with persuasion and deception skills. I'm always going to take more skills if I can get them. If I'm building Kurapika, at least he's very skilled. Back over to Monk now. Are we keeping up? The Hunter squad is messy, but I love them. 2nd level monks get key points they can use to do cool Nen stuff like Step of the Wind, letting you dash or disengage with a bonus action, and you'll have double jump distance, so your lower strength won't be an issue here. Patient Defense lets you dodge as a bonus action, definitely removing any need for you to ever cast Blade Ward. Flurry of Blows lets you make 2 unarmed attacks instead of 1 with your action. If you're holding a person, those are all crits. It's really fun. Turns out bad guys are really easy to hit when they can't move. If you don't want to spend key points though, enjoy unarmored movement, making you faster when you're not wearing armor. Keep it light, run faster, and fight. That's what I always say. 3rd level monks get Deflect Missiles, letting you reduce the damage from incoming ranged attacks by 1d10 plus your monk level and dexterity modifier as a reaction. If you drop the damage to 0, you can even spend a key point to throw it back. It handles some defense and offense, even more of an all-arounder type ability. To be even more of a master of life and death, choose the Way of Mercy for your monastic tradition, giving you insight and medicine proficiency for free, more lie detection, and heart location. Most hearts are in the chest. Pro tip. You also have Hand of Healing, letting you spend a key point to heal a creature, your martial arts die plus your wisdom modifier. You could even mix that into a Flurry of Blows without spending a second key point. Or you could use a Hand of Harm, spending a key point to add your monk die plus your wisdom modifier and necrotic damage to 1 unarmed attack per round. Add your psychic blades on top of that to a held target, and that is 1 meaty punch. 4th level monks get an ability score improvement, cap off your charisma modifier for maximum psychic blades uses and Eldritch Blast chaining. You also get Slow Fall, letting you reduce falling damage by 5 times your monk level as a reaction, so all that anime mobility won't break your tiny little knees. Your punches get Meteor at the 5th level of monk, since your monk die bumps up to a d6, and you get an extra attack to make 2 attacks with your action instead of 1 or 4 with a Flurry of Blows. That's 8d6 to a held target plus another 2d6 necrotic damage plus 10d6 psychic damage. Yeah, that would make me regret murdering. Stunning Strike is a bit underwhelming compared to that, but it lets you spend a key point to force a Constitution saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they're stunned until the end of your next turn. Save your key points for the Hands of Harm and flurrying the held people. Back over to Bard. We're getting messy. I like it. 6th level Whisper Bards get Mantle of Whispers, letting you steal the identity of a creature you've killed. It's not super in character, it's just on the way to things that very much are. Enhance Ability is a 2nd level spell that very much does suit you, giving a creature advantage on ability checks of a certain type. If you choose Strength, their carrying capacity is doubled. If you choose Dexterity, they don't take falling damage from heights of 20 feet or less. And if you choose Constitution, they get 2d6 temporary HP. Whatever form of Nen you want to focus on, these buffs last for an hour depending on your concentration. 7th level Bards can learn 4th level spells. Locate Creature lets you find creatures of a specific type or a vague variety. I'm not sure you could use it to find members of a specific organization, but you should be able to use it to find humanoids, or if you learn some names from Zone of Truth. It's a pretty good interrogation spell. 8th level Bards get another ability score improvement. I think Dexterity will be the best investment. Wisdom really only helps out with our stunning strikes, and Hold Person is kind of a better version of that. For this level spell, Freedom of Movement stops you from being paralyzed or slowed down, and you can break out of non-magical shackles with 5 feet of movement. You are not chained, you are the chainer. 9th level Bards bards can learn 5th level spells, and geez. I don't know how to pronounce this spell. Geez. I'll go with Geez. It forces a wisdom saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they're charmed by you and have to obey a command you give them for the next 30 days. At any time they break your instruction, they take 5d10 psychic damage. It takes a minute to cast it, so if you're putting the chains on someone's heart, put them on their body first. 10th level bards get expertise in 2 more skills. Athletics and investigation will fix up your numbers for the skills we couldn't invest in as much. Your bardic inspiration die also bumps up to a d10, and your psychic blades are dealing 5d6 psychic damage or 10d6 when you crit. If all of that wasn't enough, you get magical secrets, which are not important. The bard list was just perfect for Kurapika, so I don't know. Spiritual weapon will let you make a magical weapon that you can move 20 feet and make a melee spell attack with as a bonus action, dealing 1d8 plus your charisma modifier in force damage. You can add an additional d8 of force damage by upcasting it 2 levels, so a 4th level spell would deal 2d8. Too bad it's concentration, so you can't use hold person and hit people with this new chain weapon. Oh wait, it's not. Hold them down and smack them with a chain that deals double damage. Skill empowerment is already on the bard list, but let's grab it anyway, letting you give a creature expertise in a skill they're already proficient with, so you can be the best at something you weren't already the best at. Let's finish this off with more monk levels. I feel like it hasn't been hard enough to track. 6th level monks, I think we're 6th level. Get key empowered strikes, letting you make your unarmed attacks magical in terms of overcoming resistances. Mercy monks also get the physician's touch, letting you remove one effect of blindness, deafness, paralyzation, poisoning, and stunning when you use a hand of healing, or when you use a hand of harm, the creature is poisoned until the end of your next turn. That means disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks, and it's not like they were going to be moving much anyway. 7th level monks get evasion, letting you take half damage on failed dex saves and no damage on successful ones. Yeah, fireballs definitely won't be an issue now. There's also stillness of mind, letting you remove the effects of charming or frightening as an action. Kurapika doesn't have time to be scared. He's got revenge to do. Our capstone is the 8th level of monk for one last ability score improvement. Push your dexterity as high as possible for better AC and better punches. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're a humanoid destroyer. You have a DC 19 hold person saving throw, silvery barbs to make people you're holding roll with disadvantage, and with a critical hit, psychic blades, hand of harm, hexblade's curse, and a flurry of blows, you can deal 8d6 plus 40 bludgeoning damage, 2d6 plus 2 necrotic damage, and 10d6 psychic damage, or around 102 with median rolls to a creature that can't fight back or heal or do anything. Even if you're not blasting someone who's locked down, your Eldritch Blast chains plus a 4th level spiritual weapon chain and Hexblade's Curse will still have you dealing 4d10 plus 2d8 plus 49 force damage, around 77 with median rolls, and that nice force damage isn't commonly resisted. Finally, you have a ton of skills, expertise in 4 of them, and skill empowerment if you really need expertise somewhere else. For weaknesses, hold person only works on persons. Turns out, if you lock your soul down to fight members of the Spider Mafia cult, you have to fight members of the Spider Mafia cult. Your AC also isn't the best, somewhere around 15, so you could get hit if you don't lock people down. Finally, Hexblade's Curse is only one target at a time. Crowd control could be an issue. So, hard focus a humanoid, take them out of the fight, then just use all your other good stuff on all the rest of the people. You don't have to be a one-man band, team up with Gon and his murderer boyfriend, and you could really wreck shop. Just make sure you're going after crime spiders and not like real spiders. That wouldn't go well, they're not humanoids. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.